Nana Lord. The name is Nana Lord, stamped and registered on Pen Nana Lord. Pen Lord. So today's show is gonna be very sweet, short, and straight to the point. It's a unique one of its kind. So I want to say, please glue yourself to the seat. Grab your drinks. Because it might be dehydrated. Because it's gonna be a very fascinating one, and we are going to make sure that this gets facilitated in a way that everyone is involved. So today is gonna be more or less something that kind of bridge um, ourselves, the expert, and also you, the participant, and also the audience watching us from home. So please make sure you're glued to the seat and be ready to participate in today's show. That being said, I would like to also take this opportunity to acknowledge our editors at large, Director Annie and Director A Class, for helping us bring you such an incredible show to your doorstep. Let's also acknowledge our sponsors who made this show possible for us to bring to you. So Feel Good Services basically in case you're looking for a mental health educator or a speaker to come and speak to you. Feel Good Services is the place to go. Reach out to them at feelgoodservices at gmail.com. Feelgoodservices@gmail.com. Also, I'd like to also talk to you about Feel Good Homes. Feel Good Homes is the best place to go and have a good time with your family. So, in case you're looking for Feel Good Homes, they're located at Pocasi, East Legon, Adriano, and East Legon Hill. They have 1 bedroom studio, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, and even a 4 bedroom house that they can rent out to you. Also, they have some houses that they are selling, 4 bedroom townhomes and also 4 bedroom standalone homes, semi-detached, and you will love it. You will love it. So reach out to them at +1 513 372 5758, and when you call it, make sure you tell the PK extension so that you can get your discount portion to you rightfully. And I say once I got going to cry, me full up amount near the discount and I'm quick. All right, you can also email them Feel Good Services gmail.com. Startup Send, the only place or the only medium to send money back home. If you don't have Startup Send by now, you are behind the curveball, and I will urge you to make sure that you have that, and also get your loved ones, some money to try their nums per day. It's very, very important, very, very necessary. Always draw your enemies closer to you. Even your enemies, send them some money so that don't go to a draw. Anyhow, why? Obi te director that is every week. Yeah, me sending this car. Sorry, every month. Yeah, me sending this car. Send a director about your enemy's money. The promo code is PK, P-KAY. Please, Dr. Danny, for training purposes, can you just send me some money on my app and let's see if it's gonna come so that I can show you to the people while we are live. And when it shows up in my wallet, we'll just demonstrate that as well. It's easy, it's fast, secure, and very convenient. So please take advantage of it from your Google Play Store, your App Store. And once you use the promo code on first transaction, please let me know and I'll get you the bag of rice as usual. With that being said, we're gonna go to the last, commercial, which is Parts and Associates. So our sister have dedicated her time to offer some great services or financial services to our community. So basically, they say that professional financial advisor to help manage your money, not my money, but your money. So some of the things that they do is asset protection, life insurance, mortgages, legal protection, and also they help you with financial need analysis, full-time and part-time business as well. They can schedule that with you. They can also help you with tax savings and also college funds. College funds are very important because most of the time, a lot of people don't even know how they're gonna, cater for the kids' education whilst they get to college, and that becomes a struggle. So now you have to go sign for sign for schools and stuff like that. But that would be nice. But still, sign the bond. If you signing the bond is very expensive, but the price to do so that being said, get with partner associates so that they can get some good system in place, as well as life insurance, which is very, very important to me. And there's some new product that they have that it actually blows my mind. The gift and transfer account. That is something that I've never even heard of. To say I engage them and I realized that they do have that gift and transfer account. So look into that. You can actually do some legitimate gift and transfer, and that will be something that you want to look into. And also small business insurance as well. So reach out to our sister Pat at 646 247 4637. And the email address is patriciaeduse2 at gmail.com. Patricia Eduse and the number 2 at gmail.com. We have a pure protection and a separate investment that you will own it. So please go ahead and reach out to them. Thank you. With that being said, I would like to go straight into our segment of Tatapsen Coffees, where they give us updates from Tatapsen. Then after that, we'll bring you to this topic, which is a very unique one for you to enjoy today. Today's topic is something that I am looking forward to, and I know you are also looking forward to as well. It's personality, partnership, and lifestyle. Know yourself before you know others. This is episode 1. With that being said, this is the maiden episode that we are running on this show. Every month, we will be bringing you a segment of personality, partnership, and lifestyle. And we'll be coming up with some case studies or stories. And if you have any story or if you have any suggestions you want to add to it, reach out to our WhatsApp platform. Our producer is going to put a link in there, HITV WhatsApp platform, where we discuss so the topics and stuff they want to see on the show. So these are some of the recommendations people actually threw out there, and producer kind of put some stuff together for us to bring to your doorstep. And if you have any story, just send out to that so we can see how best we can.
Thank you, Dr. P.K. I think you sound a little bit chubby. What than robotic kind yeah, no much check sound on the line. Yeah, doctor. It looks as if the microphone, no, you've changed to a different microphone. Sound kakrawete. But okay, I don't know if I should proceed. Yeah, it's okay now. It's okay now. But I don't know, sir. And also for networking, there was some slight you were sounding a little.
If you stop using your neighbor's Wi-Fi, everything will be fine.
Okay, I don't know if I'm the only one hearing that way, yeah. But anyway, we move on.
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
Yeah. Okay.
Hello. Can somebody unmute and as a comments your
yeah, we can hear you, but only Dr. P.KAY a break of Kakra.
Okay.
Yours is okay, but P.KAY need to work it out. Yeah, I can hear you better now.
All right. Okay, so Abushan for Yelamase and Becca says sorry for last week. Say yentima man in your problem get to bintina last week yentimi ama. Your favorite show is always on Mondays same time. And Dr. P.KAY does it as he knows best. And see, yeah, sorry, so last week, yeah, this week, yeah, we're arranging a better choice for us. And see, I know, say, it will continue throughout. Mimpesi, you be taking much of our time. So I will talk about the promotion now, summer giveaway. For what we want to do, we say, you all customers and your opportunity to win. Inti yɛahyɛ da de aba sɛ obi biara we use to tap send biara ɛwɔ code wɔ ne app no mu. Inti you can share it to as many people as you can, and the more you share, the more people come on the app, enters the family. the more you stand the chance of winning. Now, opportunities in it say you can win 100 euro, dollar, pounds. You can win Amazon voucher and then two-way air tickets, flight to Ghana and back. Nti na abusuafo kakra wɔ hɔ nti what I will urge each and everyone here and say wo code na ɛwɔ wo app no mu, you keep on sharing so you get more points and you stand the chance of winning. Mon join your social media and so yes sir, mo said if there's any update you have it. Nti you go on Instagram, Facebook, and the rest, and now you just type in tap send, and you see us there. Tap send Ghana, and then you see us there. Mon comment, mon like, mon share post, to get to the more people that you can. And doctor, this is the small update that I have. I think say we in a Q&A session. No, BBI okay. Any question that comes up, we'll try to answer them. See, doctor, that's what I have. Now maybe everything Ghana. Of course, say I can't grab Bruma so much. No, be no everyone. I never knew that. And the other phobia, the upesu ram. Me say phobia, no upesu ram. Now, one person you are confused. You are confused. I know. Lord, Lord, Mr. Yeah, next time in selecting why. With them news, oh yeah, you money movie.
Chairman, Yamisha, thank you so much. Hello. I hope I can be heard. So I may not be able to, because of network, maybe I may not be able to put my video so that I can have a quality network, if that is okay. When it's stronger, as and when I would actually show my face. So I want to believe we're starting with Yao, right? Kwame. Oh, Kwame and Ama. Okay. So Kwame actually is the quiet type and will need to process his thoughts, withhold ideas, and the goal actually is to avoid conflict. Per his personality type, he may appear very calm and will not necessarily give an immediate response. And so I'm sure we pretty much are conversant with the personality type. So we're just talking about a consistent pattern of behavior of an individual. If you really want to put it simple, that is what it is. Right? You are trying to, I mean, there's a consistent pattern of behavior of a particular individual, and it differs. So if you look at the two, it looks like Kwame is an introvert, and Amma would be an extrovert in that personality space. The first thing is that Kwame is supposed to understand who he is, okay? Then once Kwame understands who he is, then he will be in a better position to be able to relate with Amma. If Kwame understands himself better, then he pretty much will understand Amma and will be able to communicate to Amma so that there will not be clashes, or there will be less conflict for that matter. And so Kwame's behavior is not necessarily a sign of resistance or unwillingness to communicate. I hope I can be heard. Exactly, because he's an internal processor and he would want to think before he will speak. He would rather want to organize his thoughts before he will be comfortable expressing whatever he needs to. And so very often Kwame's silence and his way of approach is often a way of processing and not withdrawing. I'm sure we have to lay these premises for us to better appreciate how Kwame would have to communicate to lessen conflict, or to make sure that he prevents anything that will add to the stress, for the evening or for the day. And so for Kwame to feel safe and be able to express and communicate better, he will need time to think before responding. So they will avoid rushing. They actually need time to think before they will respond to any kind of. So for example, Amma comes home, Kwame may be already home. Then Amma comes with a trail of questions, because of her personality type. She comes with a train of questions, expecting that Kwame may have to respond to them almost immediately. But because of the personality type of Kwame, it is not likely she would have it like that. And if she doesn't get it like that, she has the tendency of misinterpreting that. And because she has a tendency of misinterpreting that, it could conflict with what Kwame, or how Kwame would want to respond to the train of questions or conversation that came up. And so Kwame will have to understand that this is who I am, all right? Once this is who I am, and this is who my wife is also, how can I fill that gap so that there is less conflict or there is less misinterpretation? On the other side, Amma will also have to understand who she is, to understand who the husband is probably. And so if it is not coming almost immediately, then she also understands and knows that I need to have a little patience because that is the nature of my husband. So Kwame actually would to be able to communicate better would want a little bit of time to think before responding. That is his nature. Then he wants to do that in a non-judgmental atmosphere. All right. If because of his personality type, if he does not take time to give an appropriate answer and communicate it in a more better way, Amma could also feel offended. So he wants to create that confidence that he needs to be able to, put up a response that will not court criticism, interruption, or immediate evaluation. And so psychologically, he will feel safe and it will encourage him to open up to whatever conversation that is coming up. All right. To be able to communicate better again, he thinks that whatever is coming up, whatever questions are coming to me, I must listen actively. And he will, when he does speak, he would maintain eye contact. He will listen without interrupting, reflecting his words, and asking clarifying questions, which will reinforce that his thoughts are valued. And so he would want to process and go through all these ones before he would want to engage in any communication. Well, he could also go on the tangent of an open-ended questions rather than asking questions that demand quick answers. He will actually invite to himself reflections. So what has been going on through your mind lately? You understand? So for him, Kwame, what his personality type is actually playing out in how he would process whatever came to him, and then he's able to communicate it better. But he may not do it hurriedly like an extrovert will do, and that's not a problem. It is just his personality type, and that's why individuals. I mean, let me make this statement. It is said that, and I believe that, to become aware of who you are is one single most important information you should have about yourself, knowing who you are. So predominantly, I'm trying to say that Kwame will have to know who he is to be able to communicate better as an introvert. Then Amma should be able to know exactly who she is, to be able to know who Kwame is, and to be able to appreciate how Kwame gives feedback without any grudge. Mm-hmm. All right. All right. So you know what the problem is always understanding the other partner. Why would Amma interpret that to be hostile? And why would Amma be venting? For how many years have they been living together? Let's conjecture. Let's say they have been living for 10 years. Okay. And Amma consistently knows that when Kwame comes from work, he needs to be himself, for some time. So like let's say in the first 45 minutes, Kwame is quiet, Kwame is calm, Kwame gets into the bedroom, shuts the door, and Kwame is all by himself. All right. And Amma cannot actually contain that. All right. Amma would only interpret that to be hostile because Amma does not understand who Kwame is. And because Amma is not understanding who Kwame is, because Amma pretty much has not really understand who she is, that she is not Kwame's type. The two personalities are different. So instead of Amma venting, Amma will have to change her approach. So maybe Kwame comes home. An introvert will not almost immediately want to talk about everything that happened during the day. He is now even going to sit down on his bed and try to process some of the things that happened, and eventually will get into communication with Amma. So all that is happening is that it is taking a bit of a time, and Amma is not patient for that silence that is there. So they need to work it out. I mean, that is the final stage of it. They will need to work it out. Exactly. So exactly. So now they Kwame should also know that this is me. And when I come home and the first 60 minutes, I have not spoken, it has a tendency to create a different environment. So one of the foremost things Kwame should learn to do, even in his introvert nature, is to go with the normal pleasantries. So so for example, Kwame comes home and Amma is there. And then Kwame goes like, Amma, good evening or good morning or good afternoon, whatever time of the day it is. How are you? How was your day? How's been work? Some few minutes with Amma before he would head to go and do all his processing and everything that is his nature. So that would have calmed Amma down. Then Amma has the opportunity to say that, well, my day was okay, just some hectic time at the office and all of that. And when you're settled, Kwame, we can talk about that. Then now you see Kwame is trying to fill that gap for Amma. Amma is also trying to say that I understand who you are. I know that I need to give you some time to be able to have your full attention, so that I can even express what my day has been to you. I mean, that's an initial thing that should be done. Then because Kwame knows that when there is so much silence, it has a tendency of creating, something filling that gap. Kwame usually, if he will sit like 15 minutes, then he is reducing it. And you see, these people, finally, what I would say is that they will have to, if they cannot handle it, they'll have to see, they'll have to go for therapy or see a counselor to help them. But that will be the final or the climax of all that I am saying. We'll get there. So I'm just saying that now they understand those dynamics. So now, instead of Kwame spending like 15 minutes, Kwame is spending like 10 minutes. Then he will come out so that at least Ama will not feel that loneliness, and Ama will not get agitated, and Ama will not vent in the long run. And
Okay.
so intentionally and practically, they must put things in place so that they will be able to accommodate each other and make sure that that conversation that brings fulfillment to both of them could be achieved.
All right.
So basically, I'm saying that it is how what communication Kwame starts when he enters the house or Ama comes to the house to meet him, whichever way, there should be some deliberate pleasantries at the initial stage that will take care of, some few minutes of, staying away. And when Kwame is done, you don't stay in the hall. I mean, you don't stay in the bedroom. You come out to the kitchen or to the hall, wherever Ama is, and try to, give an attention to her, and she would also, do likewise.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. At this point, this concludes the first scenario. I am gonna ask the audience, are you a Kwame or an Ama when you get home stressed? So please put your answers in the chat, and I'm gonna read them right away before we get to the second scenario. So Zuma comes with a very beautiful one. Says Kwame is coming from work and Ama is at home. Doesn't being tired from work play a role in his energy to participate in the convo with Ama? That's a very good question from Zuma.
Yeah, that's a good scenario. So of course, almost everybody will come home with some level of tiredness or weakness, or which is
Okay.
normal. But you see, it goes back to the awareness we are talking about. Because I know that I am an introvert. I am coming home. I have gone through a bit of a stressful day. I should be aware of that. I should be aware of myself. And to know that when I go home, I cannot say I have a wife who is an extrovert who will almost want to engage you in a conversation. It will not be okay for her if I just open the door and headed to the washroom, except you have a very unique situation, like you need to use the restroom or the washroom very quickly, or otherwise something else is going to happen. Apart from those scenarios, it is very important that at least you stay a little bit asking how the family is doing and everything before you move inside. So you must be aware of the state in which you are entering home, knowing who you have as a wife or a family, and then you become so conscious of it that you would want to give some initial statement to fill that gap for you. If you take it for granted, then if it is misinterpreted, then you add to the grudges or the conflict that has the tendency of arising already. And so there should be a deliberate thing to understand the mood in which I find myself. So if I find myself in a particular mood, I should be able to explain that mood. I don't know if you ever heard of this psychological term, alexithymia. I'll be presenting a paper on alexithymia and how it affects African marriages in Slovenia in October. These are, let's say, some extreme kind of, you cannot express how you feel. That's a unique thing on itself. But if there is no such thing that is affecting you, but it's the normal stressful days that I have gone through, and by my nature as an introvert, I'm saying that I am cool, collected, and most of the time by myself, and do not appreciate that so much that, and I appreciate who my wife is, and comes home and makes it takes over the home. There is always going to be trouble, and so you must be very intentional to say that this is who I am, this is how I feel at this time, and what are some of the things that I should put in place to mitigate against that, and not necessarily bringing conflict in the marriage or the family. It's an intentional thing that one must do.
Okay. And just so you know, with the alexithymia, a lot of people that are introvert also suffer from that as well. Because most people are
Exactly.
introvert not just because they are quiet, just because they don't know how to voice out their feelings, or probably because I remember back in the military, there was this guy, anytime he's heard he goes to the hospital, the nurses will ask, what is the pain like? Is it tingling? Is it sharp? Is it piercing? He was not able, and I was always his battle buddy, right? And I would take him
Okay.
to the hospital, and there is no way he's able to tell how the pain was like. I'm not sure. It's a little bit sharp. It's a little bit tingling. It's a little
I know,
like
right?
he has numbness. He have tingling. I'm like, this guy, you're not serious. Let's head back. All right, so thank you very much. We are going to proceed to the second scenario. And again, like I said, if you're Kwame or your Ama, please put your comment in, your response in the comment in the chat session. Me, for instance, I think I like to have a communication about however I'm feeling. I don't like to wait for that long to talk about it. The moment I wait on it, it means I don't want to talk about it anymore. And sometimes it's good and it's bad, because it could be that I'm planning evil for the revenge, or is in the good ways, I've forgiven you and I don't even want to talk about it or deal with it at all. But sometimes I always want to, if I really like someone and they offend me, or I feel like there's something I read, I will always want us to talk about it, hash it out, and just throw it out the window, because sitting on it can create problems, and others do well just throwing it out of the window like that. The second case study is about the structured planner versus the spontaneous free spirit. That's why it always bothers me. Or maybe you're free spirit. I'm free spirit. What is free spirit? I don't understand. Is it a spirit moving around without any aim or ambition? So this is between two couples, Kofi and AC. I don't know why Kofi was used in this session, because I'm Kofi and you are Kofi. We'll ask producer why when the story came, he decided to use those names. Because even producer, we don't know whether he's Kojo or he's Yao, we don't even know. Up to now, we don't know. Questions beside no. Well, this is the story. Weekend family event. Kofi packed 3 days early. Set a.m. departure. AC starts packing at 7:50 a.m. and says, let's just grab food on the road. I just don't like the way the gender has made something so obvious to make it look like women are always delaying. That's not true. We have some men. Me, for instance, when I'm going for event, I'm packing the night of the event. Even when I'm going to Ghana, a day before the trip, that's what I'm packing. So sometimes, but I'm also a very serious planner, but just spontaneous rough. So he calls her irresponsible and disrespectful. She calls him a controlling killjoy. Silent drive throughout. Now, Chaplain and NIMAKO, how does lack of self-awareness make Kofi turn his need for structure into a weapon of control?
Yes, so like you're saying, I'm sure maybe at the tail end before we probably will end, given some 5 minutes, I really want to talk about this self-awareness in some 5 dimensions. But you see, first of all, let's look at these 2 character traits. Maybe it will help us appreciate appreciate this scenario very much. So like you said, the structured planner and the spontaneous free spirit people, they have some character traits. So for example, like you said in the scenario, the structured planner will plan ahead and will follow their schedule. So let me use myself, for example, myself and my boss. Those days when I served on the General Conference and Executive Committee, usually our flights were around 10 p.m. here in Ghana. And he would ask that we get to the airport by 6 p.m.
Hey.
And I don't understand. we are flying 10:30, 6 p.m. You want us to be in the airport. And so one day I asked him why he does. I said, well, when we go there, when we are checked in and everything, we have time to sit, and prepare to board. But I am looking at coming like 7:30, 8 o'clock, thinking that once I come, I'll be able to do my check-in and go and sit. I don't want to sit for so long before boarding or something, And he would have packed maybe some 2 weeks before. But me, that day that he's saying that we're going at 6 p.m. is when I am packing, and even probably running in town to go get one thing or the other. So there are people who will want to plan ahead and follow their schedule as it is. But unlike the structured planner, the spontaneous free spirit person, in that same vein, enjoys adapting as situation unfolds. That's who they are. This one prefers an orderly and structured way of living. This one prefers flexibility and freedom. I'm a man of myself. Give me some space. Wait a minute. But we'll all still get the kind of, understanding. Likes predictability. This one enjoys novelty and variety. The structure looks at, making decisions early. This one keeps options open. On and on and on. Values punctuality and deadlines. This one values experiences and opportunities. This one finds comfort in routines. This one finds comfort in spontaneity. This one may struggle with unexpected changes, but the free-spirited person may struggle with long-term planning. And so you see, if you look at this few character traits that I have given, then it tells you who KOFI actually is it KOFI? Yeah, KOFI actually is for that matter. So KOFI actually wants that whatever trip they are embarking on, because of who he is, he's likely to come out that way. But KOFI, if he truly understands who he is, in communicating that, we plan ahead, we pack ahead, we do all the necessary bits and pieces ahead. If he understands that that is who he is, he will present it in a way that is it Ama?
AC.
AC will not feel that KOFI is either being bossy, ordering her around, or pushing her around. If KOFI is not able to communicate that very well, that is how Ama is going to feel. But if KOFI knows that this is who I am, one of the probable things that he should have done already was to have had this discussion with Ama. In fact, as a Christian counselor, I can even say that even before this will become an issue in their marriage, in their counseling, premarital counseling, this issue should have been dealt with already. All right? And when they start living and they start popping up, then they should also know how to work around it. So in order for KOFI to disabuse Ama's mind of trying to plan for her, or trying to be bossy, or trying to dictate the pace for her, KOFI should know how to communicate. Ama, if we do not do this A, B, C, D, there's going to be traffic, there is going to be this, there's going to be this obstacle. So what do we do? So it's always like inviting Ama into it. Ama, what are we going to travel with? So you
and
start
even
this
to add on to what you just said, right? I've seen that in plenty of wedding, what is it called? The after party they do at weddings, the reception, where there are wedding games like who is quick to get ready, who gets mad when the other person is the other partner's, the shoe game, the shoe games. So even if it was not talked about at the premarital counseling, during the wedding games, you should know that, you should know yourself by then.
It will give you some glimpses of who each other is. And it's very, very important, like you're saying. And so like let's say 2 weeks to the traveling date. That's where Kofi must begin. You know, Amma, what are we going with? Are we going with some shito and Gary? Can we have a checklist? Let's have a checklist. Let's have a planner. You know, that's how it is. So, but if you wait till let's say 1 week and you have packed all already and will not say anything to AC, and when it is just like 2 days to the trip is when you are showing her, you see, I have packed everything already. You have packed nothing. What are you doing? You're always lazying about, blah, blah, blah. Then AC knows that she does other things at home, like fixing dinner, taking care of the kids to go to school and all of that. Then she also starts bringing all those things up as a way to defend herself and all of that. And it becomes a clash. So way before or the time Kofi would have started packing or trying to put bits and pieces together, he should be able to walk AC along, you know, gradually. Otherwise, if he waits and it's at the neck of time, she may not be able to, you know, because she's not used to it and it is not her. I mean, the real her, then it tends to be a problem for her, and she tends to misinterpret this communication that is coming from Kofi.
All right.
And so that's a kind of scenario I can give to try to break this two character traits down.
Okay. Before we go to the second question, will you try your video again and see if it's working better now?
All
With the
right.
network. Okay.
Well, I think it's quite stable. Okay.
Okay, and if it's acting up, you can always take it back off. So, but the second question is, how can they compromise to protect his peace without suffocating her freedom?
Well, I understand when you say compromise. I would always use accommodate. All right. Sometimes when you say people should compromise, they tend to think that one will just have to give in, you know, so that there will be peace. But I'm not saying it's wrong. I think accommodate is a more flexible. When I'm talking like that because of the daily experiences that I get. And so they should learn to accommodate each other. Once there's that's either compromising or accommodating, the idea is that this is who I am, this is who you are. At what point do we meet? At what point do we understand each other, accommodate each other, so that we can still forge ahead and have that kind of tranquility, you know, to live in. And so that is what it should be. I have understood who I am. I know who you are. I know that you are a more structured person, you know, and I am more spontaneous with things. But hey, these are the things that we need to do. Once we are able to live side by side, understanding each other and giving each other some space to demonstrate who they are, then we are able to move ahead. I don't know if that works with
Yes.
our audience too.
Thank you very much. And now the question to the audience is: in your house, are you a KOFI or you an AC when it comes to being a structured planner or the free spirit, ready to go planner? There is a question. I think probably right now maybe multiple questions then. So this one is from Phyllis. Phyllis says, I am a Kwame sometimes or when I want to be, but I like to talk about what is wrong at the moment and move along. So are you saying Kwame is not giving silent treatment?
Maybe I I may not have gotten there.
Yeah,
So
I think maybe the notes was supposed to be say Kwame is now giving silent treatment, but then that note right there threw me off. But anyway, Phyllis says
okay.
there is nothing wrong planning ahead. Ahead, it's a form of it is nothing wrong planning ahead. It's a form of discipline, which I totally agree with Phyllis on that one. And Sanlo says in
Exactly.
this scenario, is AC still ready at the agreed time? At what point does being spontaneous become a detriment? That is a good question, because if AC packs
Very good
at
question.
7:50 and is ready to go at 8 o'clock, why do you call her irresponsible and disrespectful?
Okay, so let me use my scenario I created between me and my boss. So at the end of the day, if I don't go at 6 and I come at 7:30 or 8,
Did you make the
knowing
check-in
when
time?
exactly, knowing the check-in time and everything, I still make it.
And the window closes
Okay.
at 9.
Yeah, I still make it. But the point is that now what we are driving at is how can one not look down on the other? How can one not talk down on the other so that there will not be conflict? How can we accept that this is this how? So for example, instead of going at 6, let's go at 7, so that at least I meet my wife or my husband also halfway through it. We don't want to say that because this one says that I will go at 4 and sit, everybody must go at 4. As long as I'll be able to meet the timelines. It's just like we are in school. Some of us, we are the last minute kind of, studying people. Then we have people who will also start preparing for the exams right from the beginning of the semester. All right. They are not, even though it is good, they are not better than us, because we also understand that if we study early, we'll forget. Okay, so we will also make sure that we are keeping the notes. We know where our notes are. We attend lectures and everything. Then when it is 1 month to the exams, we also finish hard. And then they will all write the exams and we'll all pass. But we are talking about
But
knowing these two.
one studied to understand the subject, the other chewed and pour and forget.
No, but you see, let me use myself as, you know me better. Let me use myself as an example. I would make sure that I will attend class.
That's all we
Then
need.
I understand what the teacher, because if I don't come to class, I cannot follow this my strategy. So I must make sure that I come to class. Once I come to class and you taught and I was there, I make sure that I go place my note where at the needed time when I grab it, I can have it. It's not now that I'm going to look for who has notes and all of that. I have all the materials, at my disposal. Then maybe 1 month to the exams, for me, is a revision time for me. All right. But some people too, when they don't go like that, they cannot finish the entire schedule for themselves or the load of work that they have. It has dynamics. I just want to say that now you who start planning at the beginning of the semester and knowing who I am and my tendencies and all of that, and I am also doing it maybe a month to the start of the exams, don't necessarily mean that you are better than me. If my style is not helping, then it means that I have to revise it. And that is how I accommodate myself in that space. When we bring it to relationship and how people are living together. In fact, I don't know if you ever heard of this concept, the Johari's window.
No.
The Johari's window has a way of humbling you, creating an awareness of who you are. I mean, what it is. Basically, it's more about relationships, okay? But I'm trying to say that there is a bit of Johari's window, which also actually help you to understand, humble, to accommodate people, okay? That it's not always you. it must get to a point where we must learn to accommodate each other, meet each other at a point, and then we'll have that peaceful and loving home that we want. Every time one wants to think of them as superior, prioritizing them and what their character traits is above others, it becomes a problem. And the interesting thing is that these character traits, you can't change them. You can only manage them. If you say you will change them, you will break the relationship. And so we must understand these dynamics and learn rather to compromise or accommodate each other to a point where we understand and we can all move and meet our deadlines and make our home what it should.
Okay. All right. Let's go to case number 3, because I think you already answered the question for us. Let me make sure I got the name right. Sanlo. Yeah, Sanlo's question has already been answered. So case study number 3, which is the last case study for today, says the rational thinker versus the empathic feeler. In this case, the couple is Yao, the one that you thought we were going to do first. Yao and Abna. Yao is the rational thinker, and Abna is an empathic feeler. Now, let's hear the story. Abna comes home crying about a harsh performance review. Yao interrupts to give 5 logical steps to fix it tomorrow. Now, this is what created the breaking point. She says, "You are a robot. You don't care." He says, "I'm trying to save your job. Why are you attacking me?" Now, Chaplain and NIMAKO, what is Yao's blind spot, and why does his logical strength feel like an attack?
So you see, Yao is actually trying to let the other or the spouse understand the logic behind the evaluation. Okay. And if Yao, again, is how Yao will want to approach the thing. So if Yao actually wants Amma, who is already broken, understand that this 5 kind of reasoning, this 5 kind of reasoning I gave to the evaluation that was done on you is to make you have better evaluation according to whatever structure is used in your entity. Then now the spouse will appreciate it, and so if she came and you had you're privy to the evaluation and you start saying that this is what you didn't do, this is what you did, this is what you did, this is what you did, then you add more stress on her because already it has been given to her at the job site already. I don't know if we are following, but
yes,
that's exactly what it is. So you who makes decision based on logic, talks about logic, you want to value fairness and consistency. So you think that in every entity there must be evaluation at the end of the day. It is, for you, it is a fair thing. But you see, your wife in that vein will value harmony and compassion. I've worked the whole year. At least she knows that the company made profit at the end of the year. And whatever it is, we made profit. So why can't you be tender with me? You know, that's how she will look at it. But because you think that at every given period, there must be evaluation. You think that it's only fair that your bosses will do that. But how do you communicate that fairness, and how do you communicate that logic that is behind the evaluation to your spouse? That is very, very important. You must understand that he has the tendency in trying to prefer what logic behind the evaluation. He should know that he has the tendency to be direct and objective. And in that situation, when you are overly direct and objective with what your wife probably has brought home, it could create it could create a chaos. And you must understand that he has a tendency also to solve problems analytically. So he will actually, before he's giving all those point or steps you're talking about, he will actually dissect it. And in dissecting it, to him, he is being fair to the wife. But the wife who is the empathetic feeler kind of thing, he wants you to, if you were in my shoes, if you were in my shoes. So when Yao begins to talk like that, she feels that Yao is actually not is not placing himself in her shoes to be able to appreciate what humiliation, in quote, he may have gone through at the office. And so for Yao to be able to curb and prevent that breaking point having adverse effect on the wife, then he must choose an approach or a position that will help that one who thrives predominantly on empathy to really appreciate this side of it and make things better for herself the next time.
All right. Well, just so you know, you did answer my second part of the question, so I'm not going to repeat it.
Okay.
Because you added the solutions to it. So now to the audience, I want to ask, do you want solutions first or comfort first? So this is something that we have to think about, because maybe the solution may not necessarily, and again, it depends on what type of audience. Some people like to hear the good stuff first, because when I was in the military, anytime somebody gets in trouble, I was like, do you want the good news first or the bad news first? So if the bad news is you're getting the 30 days, punishment, then you already know what is coming with that 30 days punishment. And but the good news is you're going to
it's very important. I understand that bit of it. You see, so for example, even when you go to conferences where papers are presented, some people can be critical and cynical. We're not talking about those kind of people. We're talking about people who would say that thank you very much for that report. Well structured, your PowerPoint. But this is what I find in it. Are you with me? So now, this one, you prepare this one to be ready for the criticism. So in the case of Yao, for example, there should be he should create an environment where the spouse will be comfortable to listen to him. It is very important. So it's almost so like your son or your daughter comes home with their terminal report, and maybe probably they didn't do well in mathematics or English, but you see other places they had a lot of, and even the teachers comment. So probably you look at all the good parts and all that, then you talk about the teacher's comment, and the teacher has written that there's room for improvement. Then you launch on that to now come look at the maths and the English that didn't go well and motivate them to do better next time. This generation understand that better than our generation. That time it was those things that you didn't do well, and sometimes you feel like you're not going to the school again. But time has taught us that it has not always been helpful. So I understand that bit that, actually, as part of trying to help the wife, actually could also create an environment that will prepare her for the other side of the discussion, as it were.
All right. So wrapping it up, let's look at the key takeaways. And whilst we're talking about the key takeaways, Chaplain, if you can look at some memory verses that can pertain to each case studies so that we can elude it to it. So one, the first key takeaway that I'm asking everyone is like, what do all three have in common? So if Chaplain, if you can brush it a little bit, what do all three scenarios have in common? In the case of KOFI, go ahead.
Okay, so if you look at all the three scenarios, what it is communicating is predominantly self-awareness. Okay, self-awareness, that we appreciate that there are individualities their individual personality traits. And those personality traits must be known to those individuals. And I see this cut across there. And then the next thing is that when they are not properly managed, it has tendency of bringing up conflict. And when conflict arise to, then there is no peace in the home, and there is no love, and even development of children even becomes a problem. So I see some personalities. I see knowing who you are, which is the self-awareness, and I see, the a management kind of thing. If you don't, which if it's not managed well, can also bring conflict. And when it is managed well, then there is peace for everybody.
And
So
that
these
is
three,
and that is exactly the same three things that I have over here. No one is a villain. It's a personality difference. It's not about the CKs. It's about the unseen feeling, and also the last
Sure.
one is the self-awareness from each partner.
Sure.
So now, what are the three quotations that we can put in this scenarios? But so that
okay, as far as for Bible text, there could be a lot of them. So let me start just with even personality itself. God created each of us to be unique. All right, we are unique in ourselves. And so if you look at Psalm 139 verse 13, for example, say, for you created my innermost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I know guys likes using this text very, very much. And you see, the Bible also talks about the fact that we have different gifts. So if you look like Romans chapter 12, verses 4 to 8, then you can appreciate what I'm talking about. Even in the, if you talk about, once we're talking of the Bible, let me talk about the church, which is equal to the home. Just like the home or the church is made up of different people in the body of Christ. That is how the home is also all about. We form families, but we are all coming with different traits and other things. Then we talk about temperament. The Bible talks about temperament. And when we talk about personality traits, we're also talking about temperament. If you look at Galatians 5:22 to 23, a very popular text, the fruit of the Spirit, all right? All these things are there. Then when you look at Romans chapter 12, verse 2, for example, which talks about the renewing of our mind. It says that do not be conformed to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so even God, he understands our temperament and shapes and continue to shape and reshape us into who we must become. If God is doing that for us, then we should also be able to do that. Now, when we leave the temperament and we go to, let's say, the structured and the spontaneous free spirit, for example, we still have a couple of Bible texts. Genesis 6:22, Noah did everything just as God commanded him. It means that he was careful in planning. Noah was careful in planning and faithful in executing God's plans. So that will go for the structured. If you look at Nehemiah, for example, he provided effective leadership. When you look at Joseph was a strategic planner. Genesis 41:33. Yes,
you are over planning. No, I said one for each, and you have given me three for each.
Oh, okay, you said one for each.
Chaplain, you are over planning.
Okay. All right, so let me give for the rational and then the empathetic. So I'll just give one. So for the rational and empathetic, you can look at the pastor in me. So okay, let me give just one for the rational and the empathetic
pillar.
So you can talk about Paul in Acts chapter 17 verses 2 to 3, where he says that as was his custom. Paul went into the synagogue. So Paul was consistent and logic with his worship of God. And what's the last one? Okay, we can look at the internal processor.
That is the last one.
And yes, the internal processor and the verbal processor. For example, you can talk about, let's say, Mary, the mother of Jesus, all right? Luke chapter 2, verse 19, rather than responding immediately to extraordinary events, Mary reflected deeply on them. So that Mary was a deep thinker. And he asked very, very important questions, even her time with the angel. And so these are biblical rendition of what probably literature has for us.
All right. So, Chaplain, thank you very much. Before we wrap it up, you said you wanted like 2 minutes to talk about knowing your self-awareness. So give us that, then after that, we're going to wrap it up.
Yes, so I will just talk about this.
And we do have some, just a second. We do have a Q&A session. So those of you who wants to come on the call and talk, you can put your hands emoji up and just, also type your questions in there. We're going to ask them as well. So we have about 17 minutes total to wrap up the show. So Chaplain is going to talk about this in 2 minutes. Then after that, we're going to use the remaining 15 minutes for Q&A.
That's right. That's right. So there is this book I recommend for everybody, Practicing Greatness by Reggie McNeil. And he talks about the 7 disciplines of an extraordinary leader. I mean, we are all leaders in one way or the other, so it cuts across for all of us. Now, he talks about self-awareness. Awareness in itself has synonyms. So just like awareness, we add self to awareness. All the synonyms will take self as well. Now, he talks about.
So you don't want the one that Maslow's theory gave up on that, right? And I was which I know you're old.
So
you graduated from the Maslow theories, right? Go ahead. When you were in high school, you were learning self-actualization, self-awareness from the Maslow theory. Now you said, okay, we'll go and find a book. Thank you. Proceed.
All right. So yes, in that book, he talks about 7 disciplines of an extraordinary leader. But I'm just taking one. He says the discipline of self-awareness. And he says that when you look at the synonyms, one is knowledge. So self-awareness is self-knowledge. And self-knowledge is knowing who you are. I dare say a lot of people are yet to know who they are. Knowing who you are, because we don't have to, I just put it in two dimensions, the physical and the spiritual. And it is based on identity. So who are you? You belong to a family, okay? You have a family name. And so whatever you are doing, you are mindful of the tribe, the clan, your nationality, your family line, where you are coming from. It will shape you to know what to do and what not to do. Then the spiritual, you belong to a church or you have some form of spirituality. You pay homage to a certain day, a certain transcendent
being,
God. You must be mindful. So if I'm going to do something, I say, well, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. I'm a pastor. How I talk, how I eat, whatever I do within people goes to tell me I know who I am. Because I know who I am, I know what to do and what not to do and at what time that I have to do it. Then he talks about mindfulness and self-mindfulness. He said that people who are aware of themselves are mindful of themselves. And self-awareness is understanding your motives for doing what you do. I've heard people who say, I don't even know why I did this. I don't even know why I'm even doing this. I don't even know why I bought this. People who are aware of themselves should always know why they do what they do or why they are going to do what they do. Number 3, he says that people who have self-awareness have self-vigilance. And self-vigilance is knowing what makes you tick and what ticks you off. Because people do not know what pisses them off and what makes them piss other people. We keep committing blunders in and out. day in and day out. The next one is people who are aware of themselves have self-consciousness. And self-consciousness is knowing how you are come across to people. People sometimes do not care how they come across to people, because you may not know who is going to recommend you and at what time. How you come up, the perception people have about you. You know, P.K., when we were growing up, we didn't care about this thing. It is my life. We say it is me and my life. If I am a drunkard, it is me. If I'm a smoker, it is me. If I'm a womanizer, it is me. No. People who are aware of themselves are self-conscious. They are mindful of how people perceive them and how they come across to people. Then we have the last one. People who are aware of themselves have self-alertness. And self-alertness is one's ability to maintain his emotional, his physical, and spiritual condition. All right? And so you know that now the well-meaning institutions of our world are not just looking for your first class, but they are looking for people who have emotional intelligence. You understand? Physically, how you take care of yourself to be relevant in the corporate space is very important, because if you are always falling ill, you're always getting sick, periodically you have to go for medical tests and all of that, and physically you are not taking care of yourself, it could have an adverse effect on you and your entire family one day. And your spiritual condition, whichever transcendent that you owe allegiance to, has some values, some principles, and some commandments that you need to align to. And because you hold them, because they are much bigger and more powerful than you, and you hold onto them, the understanding is that if you align to their dictates and their principles, you have a better version of yourself. And these are very important things that everybody might. Maybe one day we'll go deeper into it, but these are some certain things that you must know about yourself to appreciate who you are. Thank you.
Thank you very much for setting the precedence right and laying the foundation for this baseline. Episode 1, well crashed, and I must say, you doctored it. And congratulations on making this show a very successful one. Episode 2, next month, we're going to be talking about relationship compatibility. And we're going to delve into the facts and fiction. So why are some people compatible and others are not compatible? And sometimes, and I was when I did my master's in pre-law, legal studies, one of the case studies that we're reading about divorce settlements, right? And 80% of the underlying rationale for all the case scenarios that they were having was personality differences or irreconcilable differences, and that is a stem of what relationship compatibility derives from. So it's very important for us to understand that in order to mitigate and leverage how our relationship companionship takes over. So thank you very much. Let's read these questions and open up the floor. I haven't seen any hands yet, but then if you put your hands up, I will definitely call you. If not, we're going to read the questions that we have and just proceed from there. So this question is coming from Joey Key. Is Yao jumping straight into solution finding without being emotionally aligned to comfort his wife first before solutions? I think what trying to say, before solving the problem. If so, who is supposed to compromise or be accommodative in this scenario? Is she bringing her problems from work to create a hostile home? At what point do we leave work at work? Joey Key. Very deep one.
So you see, P.K., you must understand that the wife is in crisis. And so you must be more accommodating. All right? You must be more accommodating. So in this scenario, Yao is the one thinking straight. And you see, the family is such that, you know, the family is a support system by itself. And because the family is a support system, when I go to work and I have a hard time, one of the support system I must have is my family. And the most predictable one should be my wife or my husband. So yeah, has a duty and has a responsibility of calming down her nerves and now trying to help her appreciate what has been done at her workplace so that in the next coming year, she would have a better version of herself if those established thing about her was founded.
All right. Thank you very much. But then I think there was a second part of his question. When should work stay at work? I think
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It cannot always be true. You cannot always leave everything at your workplace. There are times you come home, and that's what I'm saying, that you sometimes you may not have that support there. So look at the scenario. It's like it has been given to her at the workplace. Okay. Now, where would she find solace? The support system now she has is the family and the husband.
You know where to find solace.
I know, right?
You know where to find solace. Well, those of you who don't know, it's an disco joke.
I know, right? It goes beyond that. So the point I'm trying to make is that now the support system, she's rushing home to come and have a shoulder
A leaning
to
shoulder.
lean on, you know, and a hand to pat at his back and say that today it's like this, tomorrow it can be better. So you do A, B, C, D. But we must create that environment for her. So you cannot always leave everything at work. There are other times they become overwhelming, but you don't find any space around. You come home and there's a husband or a wife to take care of that. Sometimes you see, even as pastors, sometimes you go for church board meetings. Sometimes it gets very heated, you know. Well, when you come home and you see how your wife receives you and all of that, and then you are calmed down and you leave everything, and you know, she may even prefer to you what some of the things you must put in place next time to be able to accommodate and all of that. It works. I mean, the Bible says that 2 heads are better than one. You understand?
Hey, romantic
so
pastor.
you have somebody to
Chaplain, thank you very much for your time. We'll call upon. If there's no further questions, I will like to basically end it over here and wrap it up. Call upon Director Danny. I don't think if A-Class is available, A-Class will do the closing for us. If A-Class is available. If not, Director Danny can go ahead and give us the closing remarks whilst we sign out. Like I said, next month is gonna be Fanta Bruta. So if you are not here, please, you just missed out. Please invite your friends and loved ones to be part of this next month. Every month there will be an episode that we're gonna be running. So please, this is here to stay and be a part of it. Let's make it more interactive. And those of you who brought your comments, we appreciate you so much. Abraham, thank you very much for your question. So is this new microphone that we bought that is creating the issue? And I think we've seen that 2 times or 3 times, no, 2 times in a row. So we'll probably have to work on this mic. We try to go high tech, and the high tech has lowered the tech. So we'll work on that. Thank you very much to all the questions that were brought forth. Director Danny, closing remarks. Director Danny, are you available? If not, Uncle Jimmy, can you sign out Chaplain and NIMAKO for us?
Yeah, Chaplain, thank you so much for such a wonderful presentation. We've made our day. We hope to see you next time. Dr. P.KAY and his team, we also thank you so much for bringing out this show.
Thank you very much, Uncle Jimmy.
You're welcome.
Well, this is where we draw the curtains on Facebook and YouTube, HITV, as well as Facebook, Startups in Ghana. Big thanks to Chaplain and KOFI NIMAKO for sharing some nuggets of wisdom and knowledge for those of us who may need it. This is a very good lesson from there. Some of the things that I continue to learn. Anyone who tells you they do not learn or they are done learning is the biggest liar ever. I know that's the biggest lie ever told. You learn every day. Sometimes even I found myself in situations and I will call people that are around like, hey, how do you think I handled this? Do you think I kind of went too harsh, or maybe I kind of overstepped my boundaries, or get other people's opinions about yourself? And that is me knowing myself and knowing that, hey, I'm a passionate speaker. Sometimes me being passionate can be misconstrued for being aggressive, the aggressive one. And sometimes I can't say you'll be because one share the beam for into the it's very, very important for you to understand where you're coming from and make sure that other people also translated your actions and inactions the way that you intend for it to be. So thank you very much. God bless you all. See you guys next week with Dr. Phil on mental health issues. And this month and next month is going to be a full packed events coming your way. God bless you all. My name is Dr. P.KAY for ASENSO, and I was your host for tonight, and I will forever continue to serve you diligently with my prolific host Nana Lord, and also Dr. Danny and A-Class, as well as Uncle Jimmy. At this point, I'm going to hand over the baton to Uncle Jimmy and the ambassadors for them to do the Startup Send focus Q&A, whereby any issues or concerns that you have concerning your Startup Send app, they can help you resolve that, or probably head you or lead you to the right direction or the right quarters. With that being said, God bless you all. See you guys same time next week right here on HITV on the most